I tried low spend January, and here's what actually changed. Each week, I'll answer real money questions from real people. And today's question is low spend January actually worth doing it if you're already making decent money? First, let me be clear, this is low spend, not no spend. A lot of people do no spend, and if that's for you, that's amazing. For me, that feels like deprivation. I didn't want to have the worst month ever. I just wanted to have a reality check. I also didn't do low spend January because I'm broke, because I can't make ends meet. I did it because I was annoyed. I make decent money. I'm not reckless. And yet every month I was looking at my bank account saying, where did it go? So instead of a budget overhaul or some new year, new me nonsense, I tried 1 month of just actually paying attention, spending less when I could. So here are some of the rules that I made up. And this matters because most people quit by week 2 of any of their habits in the new year. No impulse spending. Specifically, I limited my Amazon orders because those get out of control. I limited dining out. I love dining out. So this one was a really big one for me, but I made some pretty delicious meals at home. And again, eating out was limited, not completely banned. Then no spending on alcohol. This is just coincidental that I chose dry January and low spend in the same month, but it ended up being a huge savings for me. And then I still paid for things that actually mattered in my life. I need face wash. I need deodorant. But my biggest rule was the one question, is this a want or is this a need? Again, doing this for 31 days wasn't meant to be a punishment. It was just to take some time to look at the extra spend in a month. Maybe we had extra cash that could go towards bigger things if we didn't miss the spend. It was an intentional reset, paying attention to kick off 2026 in the best possible way. Let's hit the questions that folks asked me. Why not just do no spend to really move the needle? I think when you put too many rules around something, it makes you want it that much more. So I didn't want to be misers in January, only to splurge and go crazy in February, since that would have felt so deprived. So low was more of a happy middle ground of cutting back, but still getting to live life. Did it suck? At first, yes. That first week, like everything cost money that I wanted to do, and I had to say no to everything. But then I stopped being a big baby and I realized it was pretty easy. I found workouts on Meetup that were free. I spent more time writing. I took longer walks with my dogs and friends. I spent more time cooking up delicious meals. Did I actually save money? I saved an extra $1,758 to be exact. And honestly, that surprised me. But that's not even the best part. The realization that over the last few months, I spent thousands on dining out, and several of those experiences either were bad food or the service sucked. Nothing is worse than wasting money. So this time I just went to friends' houses. I had better conversation. And honestly, the meals were better for my cash flow and my diet. What was the hardest part to give up? Honestly, the convenience spending. The Amazon spend was my second biggest spend. And so I like things to make my life a little bit more convenient. And it's just a little bit harder to say no to those random purchases on Amazon. What surprised me the most? I knew that the last few months I've spent a lot on dining out, but I didn't correlate that to the real issue of I'm just looking to change up my day. The comparison from December to my low spend January was noticeable. How often I spent money just to change up that routine. I would go to dining out, stopping by a brewery, dropping into a workout class, trying a new coffee shop. I just wanted to get out of the house, and especially from working from home. Those small decisions really added up fast. Low spend January did not magically make me rich. What it did was show me patterns, and that's way more powerful than a budget. Little leaks in my bucket of cash that, if not stopped or paid attention to, could end up being much larger over the course of the year. Emotional spending was also a big one. I like to do things when I'm happy, I like to do things when I'm sad, and between the tech layoffs blowing up my LinkedIn feed, the news, and just general day-to-day stress, it's easy to spend money to make things feel better. This month, I separated emotions from money, and that wasn't easy, and it will be something I'll work on, but something to notice. And boredom spending was another. When you aren't dining out or meeting up with friends for concerts, it's easy to get bored or just feel in general bored. I changed my perspective on how often do I get this much free time, and pretty positive. So I went on longer dog walks, fewer breweries, exactly 0, started writing, started a workout routine that I actually kept up for the entire month. Of course, there's more sitting on the couch, which is prime time to scroll Instagram and Amazon to buy random stuff. So I caught myself there. And then there's the classic, I work hard, I deserve this spending mentality, where I focused on health this month instead. And I kept thinking, maybe I need this for wellness. But I stopped and asked myself that good question. Do I need this or do I just want this? Turns out there were plenty of free options I didn't have to pay for, and most of those wants ended up being forgotten about by the end of the week. Most people don't have a math problem. They honestly have a behavior problem when it comes to their money. If you're already extremely frugal, you probably don't need this, and I honestly wouldn't do it. If you're paycheck to paycheck, this might be the first step for you. That'd be a really good step. And then if you're like me making decent money, wondering where did it go, especially after the holidays, this is a great reset. I love doing this in January, but honestly, it works any time of the year. It helps me think about what am I spending on and actual changes I can implement for the rest of the year to make my money grow intentionally. The little changes you can do now really will add up. Every week, I'm going to keep sharing the money lessons I wish I knew earlier, without shame, without perfection. If this sounds helpful, subscribe. And as always, feel free to send in your questions. And if you tried low spend in January, tell me what surprised you or what habits you're going to be carrying into February or maybe beyond. I'm excited to read your comments. Real money questions answered honestly, no pretending I've always had it together.